Hey guys, Matt Marzillo here. In this video, we're going to be reviewing some of the functions that we previously went over and also going over some new functions that you can use in Microsoft Excel. So what we're looking at right here is a data table that includes the pricing for different components of a knee replacement system. So I've spent some time in my career working in the healthcare world, and one of the most expensive items that we buy in healthcare is the components that comprise a knee replacement, right? So as you get older, your knee wears down. You try to rehab it, it's not working. You have to go to a surgeon who's going to take out some parts of your knee and replace them with these four parts here. The actual content of what these are, don't worry about it. Obviously, this isn't a biology class or anything like that. We're just going to use this as an example to use some functions here. So again, a function like the average is a type of formula, right? Anytime that you use the equal sign in a cell, you are creating a formula. And then if you are using sort of one of these canned functions, it's a function in Excel. Very important to remember that. That's probably going to appear on a test at some point. The difference between a formula and a function. A function uses this sort of canned functionality within Microsoft Excel, whereas a regular old formula just is like using a calculator. You're just using plus signs, equal sign, plus signs, subtraction signs, that sort of thing. So in this, we've been asked by our manager to kind of average out each of the components, right? So we have a high grade system right here, a mid grade system right here, and a low grade system. So sometimes, maybe if you have a younger patient, they're going to be a little bit more active, and maybe you want to use the high grade system. Because they're going to be using it for longer, or maybe they're wearing out their knee a little bit more by walking more often, that sort of thing. But maybe sometimes you have an older patient. The patient's in a wheelchair. You're just replacing their knee, just to kind of manage their pain. So you can use maybe some less expensive components to save a buck, because it really doesn't make a difference. But anyway, we want to average out the cost of each of the components, and then also total up what the entire system costs for each of those systems. So here we already have the average function typed up here. So you can see we're averaging out C3, D3, and E3. We did it using the commas. You can also use the colon if you choose to. But let's just drag that down using the autofill. And bam, there you go. So we have the average cost. Everything looks right. You're at $1,700 for the femur, $1,500 for the tibia. The insert, something interesting happens here. It's just, even though we're referencing cell E5, since there's nothing in there, it's not picking that up. It's calculating the average just based off of C5 and D5. The reason for this is that the high grade system doesn't have an insert. It's already part of the plate component. So it's actually, and when we total it out, we'll see it's actually it's kind of nice because it saves some money since you don't have to buy that extra component, right? So that's the averages. That seems to make sense when we kind of look at the actual values. So we're all good there. Now let's move on to calculating the totals. And we remember from last time that we used the sum function. So let's go equal sign, sum, open parentheses, and let's use the colon function, but we can do that by using our mouse and just dragging. So you can see that automatically populates it saying C3 through C6. Let's close up the paren, hit enter, and we're all good, right? So the low grade system costs $3,900. Let's drag that to the right. Microsoft Excel is going to reference the appropriate cells for us. Let's double check that. Yep, D3 to D6. Okay, E3 to E6. Great, and that's excellent. And this is actually pretty insightful, right? Because you can see, and I did that again. I apologize. Okay, you can see that the high grade component, or the high grade system, is actually less expensive than the mid grade system because we're not having to buy the tibial insert. So that's a good thing to know. We've actually accomplished something here. Nice work, guys. So okay, that's a review of some of the functions that we used previously. I'm going to introduce some other functions. So let's say down here we just want to count up the number of components, right? Let's just, we know it's 4, but let's just for the sake of demonstrating, let's equals, And most of the functions in, or the names of the functions in Excel are intuitive, so we're trying to count. So the name of the function is count, right? Pretty simple. And you can see what Excel does, especially in the later versions of Excel, or the more recent versions of Excel, it gives you a quick little definition. So the count function counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers, right? So if we were to do it here, C3 through C6, we're all good, right? So counts up 4, we can drag over here. So perfect, right? So the low grade has 4, mid grade has 4, high grade has 4. I'm sorry, 3. That's accurate. But if we pulled this to the left, it's saying 0, right? Because it's text in columns B3 through B6. If we want to count text, we can certainly do that. Not a problem. You would just go with count A. Counts the number of texts in a range that are not empty. So if there's anything, doesn't matter if it's a number, text, what have you, it'll count it, right? So perfect. That's great. That's exactly what we want. Another little tip, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, is that if you highlight over numbers or anything, Microsoft Excel 2013 and 2011, they give you a quick hit average count sum for you here, which is kind of great if you're just looking through a massive spreadsheet and you just want to kind of get some quick information without pumping in a formula. Kind of nice there. So you can see the sum 5200, that matches right there. Great. And if you wanted to say, verify your average, highlight those 3 cells, the average of 1733, which matches our function, perfect. And then even when you're highlighting over some text, it gives you a quick count. Obviously, you can't calculate an average or a sum, but it gives you a quick count. So that's always good to know about this little feature down here at the bottom of the spreadsheet. Okay, one last set of functions that we're going to show you is trying to find the minimum and the maximum. Pretty easy stuff. But before we get started there, I forgot to put the min labels here. So rather than type in min femur, min tibia, min patella, I'm just going to copy and paste them, and then we're going to use the find and replace to be lazy here, so we don't have to retype everything. So if I copy those cells, paste it down, just paste the text down. Now what I'm going to do is use that Control H button, and I'm going to find the word max and replace it with the word min. So keep your eyes on cells B15 through B18. Click replace all. Great. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Made those 4 replacements. And now we have min femur, min tibia, min patella. Okay, excellent. Without having to type it in. And that's really helpful when you have maybe hundreds of rows that you want to replace something with, rather than having to retype everything. It's just like that, you can replace it. So like I said, we're going to find the max femur component, and for all the others, by using a function. Excel's functions are always very intuitive, or usually very intuitive. So equals max, and that's going to find the largest value in a set of values. So open parentheses, max component. Great, so that's right. I mean, obviously we can tell just by looking at it that 1900 is the most expensive. And then we're just going to pull it down, because the cell referencing should work to our liking, right? So femur component, plate, insert, patella. Okay, let's just pull those down. Perfect. And you can kind of scan through here and see that, yep, the cell referencing all lines up good. It's changing the formula as we want it to. And then we're going to find the minimum. So equals min. Pretty much the same thing here. $1,500 is the least expensive. Yeah, that's right. And then let's pull it down. And we're all good. So you can see Microsoft Excel, it referenced the right cells when I did the autofill. And everything is looking good. So this is a pretty nice, clean report that we can give back to our manager, and hopefully take some insights from. The one key thing I think being here is that the high grade system is actually less expensive than the mid grade system. So that's a really important thing to know. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and highlight that too because we think it's so important. Go up here and just drop some yellow. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.